This is November 4, Lima, Delta, Bravo, and welcome to the South Dakota Link Net. This net meets every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. The purpose of the net is for emergency preparedness, handling of traffic, making amateur-related announcements, and operational testing of the SD Link system. When you're using the SD Link, please feel free to write you, but please also observe common courtesy to all and leave room for emergencies and braking stations. Please give your call sign even if you're just testing your ability to access the SD Link system. It is not okay to chunk, and it is very rude and inconsiderate to monitoring stations. It is also illegal according to FCC rules. Temporary individual crossband repeat with the SD Link is highly discouraged, and any permanent linking is not permitted by the South Dakota Amateur Radio Council. To make sure your entire call sign is received when you check in, please key up, then wait 2 full seconds before giving your call sign twice, once normally and once phonetically, as there is some delay across the whole state with this many link sites. Your net control tonight is November 4, Lima, Delta, Bravo. My name is Lance, and I'm located in Sioux Falls. At this time, we'll take any traffic or announcements or bulletins for the net. Please call net control. Hearing none, I hope everyone had a safe and excellent holiday season. And I'm not sure which side of the state we ended up on last time, so let's start West River. I'll make it up to the East River folks next week. Let's begin calling those stations wishing to check in this evening on Bear Mountain. Now calling stations checking in for Bear Mountain, please.
KF0MTO, they're out at Edgemont. Kilo Foxtrot 0, Mike Tango Oscar on Bear Mountain. Kilo Charlie 0, Kilo Papa Victor, Randy, Hot Springs on the 8-5.
And it did copy Kilo Foxtrot 0, Mike Tango Oscar, Larry, and KC0KPV Randy. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you. There may have been another station in there as well, but it was only a carrier and no audio. Any other stations wishing to check in from Bear Mountain, please? Nothing heard. Let's move up to Terry Peak. Calling those stations to check in from Terry Peak, please.
Kilo Charlie 0, Whiskey Charlie on 7-6.
And I got the Kilo Charlie 0, Whiskey Charlie. Good evening, Jerry. Thank you, sir. Calling stations for Terry Peak, please. Let's move down to the Rapid City and call the Rapid City VHF. Calling check-ins for the Rapid City VHF, please.
All right, on Terry Peak.
That last station, I believe I doubled with you. Could you say again, please?
Foxtrot 0, Papa Romeo India, KF0 PRI on Terry Peak.
KF0 PRI. Good evening, Adam. Thank you, sir. Now calling stations for Rapid City VHF, please.
AYN, Kilo Delta 0, Alpha Yankee, November. Dover, Rapid City, no traffic.
And I copy Kilo Delta 0, Alpha Yankee, November. Delbert, good evening, sir. Any other stations for Rapid City VHF? Now calling stations for the Rapid City UHF, please.
Kilo Bravo 0, Bravo Uniform Tango, KB0 BUT, Rapid City, UHF.
And a copy KB0 BUT. Good evening, Jim. Thank you, sir. Any other check-ins for Rapid City, UHF, please? Let's move east. Now calling stations for Phillip, please.
Foxtrot 0, Kilo Zulu Uniform, KF0 KZU, Tanner from Kadoka. Foxtrot 0, Papa Romeo, SDARC 0 PRI, Rapid City, on Phillip.
And I copy KF0, KZU, Tanner, sounding good from Kadoka, and KF0 PRI, Adam, also sounding equal as well. Thank you, gentlemen. It's good to hear you. Any other stations for Phillip, please call now. Continuing east, let's now call stations checking in for Murdo, please.
Zero Lima Yankee, Tam, near pier on the Myrtle machine, no traffic. AA0LY.
AA0LY, good evening, Tam. It's good to hear you, sir. Last call for Murdo, please. Let's move to pier. Calling those stations wishing to check in on the pier machine, please call now.
Good evening, Net. Whiskey Bravo Zero, Romeo, Juliet Hotel. The Rotten Jets. Got my tongue twisted around the Rotten Hills. I wish everybody a Happy New Year. We're on the pier machine. And nothing else to report. WB0RJH, thanks for having the net. Zero JT, Chris in pier, Whiskey Zero, Juliet Tango.
And a copy WB0RJH, good evening, Greg. Happy New Year to you. Good to hear you. And W0JT, good evening, Chris. Happy New Year to you as well. Any other check-ins for pier, please call now. Let's continue moving east. Now calling stations for Reliance. Please call now.
November 0, November Papa Oscar, Greg near pier on the Reliance repeater with no traffic. N0 NPO.
N0 NPO, good evening, Greg. Good to hear you. Last call for Reliance, please.
Whiskey 0, Zulu, my name is W0, Zulu, Adam using the remote base on Reliance.
W0 ZML with your remote. You're sounding excellent, Adam. It's a good copy. Let's continue east. Now calling stations for Washington Springs, please.
Whiskey 0, Golf, Kilo Echo, Ron and Mitchell, W0, GKE is clear.
W0GKE, good evening, Ron, it's good to hear you, sir. Any other stations for Washington Springs, please? Continuing east, now calling stations for Crandall Hill.
Control. This is KE0BGB. Kilo Echo 0, Bravo Tango Victor. This is Larry. And this is Aberdeen. Have a Happy New Year.
Net Control, this is Kilo, Charlie 0, Whiskey, November, Golf. KC0, WNG, Douglas Miller, with no traffic.
And I have Kilo Echo 0, Bravo Tango Victor. Good evening, Larry. And Kilo Charlie 0, Whiskey, November, Golf. Good evening, Doug. Thank you, gentlemen. Additional stations for Crandall Hill, please. This is November 4, Lima Delta Bravo, calling the South Dakota Link Wednesday Night Net. Now calling stations for Salem, please.
Whiskey 0 Sierra Delta, is in Salem, clear.
W0SD, good evening, Ed. Thank you, sir. Let's move down to Turkey Ridge and call those stations wishing to check in from Turkey Ridge this evening.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Delta Lima Uniform, Indian Crofton. Kilo Tango 0 Whiskey, Dick and Yankton on Turkey Ridge. KE0 IDM, Jim and Yankton on Turkey Ridge. 0 KJP, Ryan in Crofton on Turkey Ridge.
Oh, Delta Alpha Sierra, Bill in South Central Sioux Falls. Thanks, Lance.
We did have a double in there at the end, but I did copy KF0DLU Andy, KT0W Nick, KE0 IDM Jim, KC0DAS Bill, and Ryan, your call was stepped on. If you could say again your call, please.
KF0 KJP, Ryan in Crofton.
KF0 KJP, thank you, Ryan, for your patience. I do appreciate that. Additional stations for Turkey Ridge, please. Let's move up and call stations wishing to check in from Sioux Falls, please.
Net Control, this is November 6, Victor Echo Golf, and 6BG, John in Brandon, and Kilo Foxtrot 0, India Zulu Uniform, KF0, ICU, Anne Marie, Brandon. Thanks for doing the net, Lance, and Happy New Year to all on SD Link.
KD0TE, Kilo Delta 0, Tango Echo, Steve in Sioux Falls, cleared.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Mike Julia Uniform, John, KF0 MJU, Central Sioux Falls.
Good evening, Net Control. Please copy Kilo Delta 2, Uniform Hotel Papa, KD2 UHP Jim over in TQRU. Thank you for the net, Lance.
Kilo Fox 0 Golf Tango Charlie Gene Sioux Falls.
N0 DBI November 0 Delta Bravo India Rob in Southwest Sioux Falls.
And I'll take advantage of the break. We have November 6, Victor Echo Golf John, Kilo Foxtrot 0, India Zulu Uniform Amory, Kilo Delta 0, Tango Echo Steve, good evening, Kilo Foxtrot 0, Mike Julia Uniform John, Kilo Delta 2, Uniform Hotel Papa Jim, Kilo Foxtrot 0, Golf Tango Charlie Jean, and November 0, Delta Bravo India Rob. Thank you all. You're all sounding excellent tonight. Additional stations for Sioux Falls, please call now.
Net Control.
MBB, Kilo Charlie 0, Mike Bravo Bravo, and I'll also relay KFI KF0 Juliet Golf India. Thank you.
Net Control, this is Kilo 0 Tango Lima Sierra, K0 TLS, Tom, East Sioux Falls.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Papa Echo Kilo KF0 PEK Cal Southeast Sioux Falls.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Golf, Foxtrot Sierra, KF0 GFS Lynn, Southwest Sioux Falls, and thanks for doing the net, Lance.
Kilo Delta 0, Uniform, KD0 UU, Tim Sioux Falls, no traffic.
Net Control, please copy Kilo Bravo 0, Whiskey Sierra Victor, KB0 WSB, Steve in Sioux Falls.
And I'll jump in there. We have KC0 MBB Vince, KF0JGI Mel by relay, K0 TLS Tom, you're sounding good into the repeater, KF0 PEK Cal, KF0 GFS Lynn, KD0 UUU Tim, and KB0 WSB Steve. Thank you all. And for ID, this is November 4, Lima Delta Bravo calling the Wednesday night South Dakota Link Net. Additional stations for Sioux Falls, please call now.
Kilo Golf 6 India X-Ray Whiskey, KG6IXW Curtis in western Sioux Falls.
KG6IXW, good evening, Curtis. Good to hear you. Let's move up to Coleman. Calling those stations wishing to check in this evening from the Coleman repeater, please call now.
Kilo Echo 0 Whiskey Papa Charlie, KE0WPC, Aiden near Toronto on Coleman. This is Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha India Tango, KF0 AIT, Todd and Brookings on Coleman.
And I copy KE0WPC Aiden and KF0AIT Todd. It's good to hear you, gentlemen. Thank you. Additional stations for Coleman, please call now. Hearing none, let's move up to Toronto and call those stations wishing to check in from the Toronto repeater, please.
KC0 Oscar Victor Charlie, KC0 OBC, clear from Toronto. Thanks for doing the net.
ED0 EMJ, Kilo Delta 0 Echo Mike Juliet, Jack in Canby, Minnesota, on a Toronto repeater, clear. Kilo Echo 0 Whiskey Papa Charlie, KE0WPC Aiden on Toronto.
And I have KC0OVC Raleigh, KD0EMJ Jack, and KE0WPC Aiden. Thank you, gentlemen. Additional stations for Toronto, please call now. Let's move north. Now calling stations for Watertown. Please call now.
Kilo Echo 0 Hotel Mike Sierra, Chad Water. Kilo Echo 0 Hotel Mike Sierra, clear.
KE0 HMS, good evening, Chad. It's good to hear you. Last call for Watertown, please call now. That concludes our regular check-ins. Let's move back West River. Take West River late check-ins. Please call now. Hearing none. Coming back east. Taking late check-ins East River, please.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha Quebec Whiskey, KF0 AQW, Dan and Brandon. Clear.
And I copy East River late check-ins, KF0AQW. Good evening, Dan. You're sounding strong from Brandon. And please double check me on this last one. KV0KBJ, Kilo Bravo 0, Kilo Bravo Juliet. Is that correct? Thank you for that. Appreciate your patience. Good to hear you. We'll now take late check-ins statewide. Any station of statewide late check-ins, please.
This is Kilo Echo 0 Zulu, KE0Z Will in Sioux Falls, no traffic.
KE0 OUK on 76 in Spearfish, no traffic.
Kilo Fox 7 Mike Tango Ken.
And I copy KE0Z. Good evening, Will. KE0OUK Ray. Good evening, sir. And KF0MT. Good evening, Scotty. Good to hear you, sir. One last call. Statewide. Any station statewide late check-in, please.
November 9 Tango Delta Echo, Marvin in Aberdeen.
And I copy November 9 Tango Delta Echo Marvin. Good evening, sir. It's good to hear you. That concludes tonight's net. Thank you, everybody, for coming out on the first night of 2025. Had a total of 50 check-ins this evening. Thank you all. I do want to give one more opportunity. If there is any station that has traffic for the net, please call Net Control. Hearing none. Thanks again, everybody. We look forward to talking with you next week. I hope you have a great and safe week. This is November 4, Lima Delta Bravo, securing this net and releasing this repeater and these repeaters back to normal amateur radio use. Have a great week, everybody, and 7-3. KB0, WSV, and 4 LDB.
And 4 LDB, KB0, WSV.
KB0, WSV, please copy my routine abbreviated net report for January 1st, 2025. We had a total of 50 check-ins this evening and one piece of traffic. How copy?
N4 LDB. Got that, Lance. Thank you for the report, and thank you for calling Net tonight. I appreciate it. Gave me a chance to listen to the remote at Wessington Springs and hear a couple of the other stations out west versus east. And we are getting doubles when some of the stations ID, and it stops the voice transmission from getting all the way over to the other in the state. So taking that into consideration, thank you, everybody, for being so patient and repeating if the call wasn't heard the first time. So thank you again, Lance. I got 50 check-ins and one piece of traffic. Thank you. KB0WSV is clear.
KB0 WSV and 4 LDB. Thank you for that, Steve. And again, reiterate what Steve said. Thanks, everybody. It was a good net tonight. Everybody spaced really well, and it was great to hear you all. Look forward to talking with you next week. Again, have a great week, and 7-3 and 4 LDB clear.